Hello there, warm evening to you. Welcome to another episode of Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up tonight on the show, surging global crude prices threaten to drive up fuel cost and production overheads in Ghana amid local refiners receiving Jubilee crude as rising tensions in the Middle East continue. Also ahead on the show, Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) intensifies crackdown on unlicensed crypto platforms and Ponzi schemes to protect Ghanaian investors. We'll be speaking to the regulator. Oh, there's a more lined up for you here today on Business Focus. But every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know the emergency number. Well, here's one you would always want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is a new EcoBank Money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergency. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank and proud sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Let's move on to the other side now and bring you updates now from the currency in the commodities market, as well as the Treasury front. The dollar currently is selling for 11 cedis 56 pesos, the pound for 15 cedis 52 pesos, the euro for 13 cedis 20 pesos. We'll be guided that these figures will be much higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodity front, we've seen a dip in the price of cocoa by some $29. It's trading at $5,504 per ton. Gold also has lost some $5.53. It's trading at $4,011 per ounce. But crude oil is up. Is up by some $0.36. It's trading at $88.46 per barrel. And this is part of our discussion for tonight on the show. $88, almost $90 per barrel. What does this mean for prices at the pumps locally, especially now that we have some local crude refining happening in the country? On the Treasury bill front, we see another streak of oversubscription, significant oversubscription. The 91-day bill is going for 5.78%, 182-day bill going for 7.67%, and 364-day bill going for 12.99%. We'll see if the government will be able to sustain this drive. We do know that they turned down some of the oversubscription, actually. But this is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. We'll go for a quick breather, but before that, we'll bring you a short tape from the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, lawyer Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. He had some very kind words to say about the show. Take a listen.
And let me say this, and let me confess, I watch your, Monday 6 p.m. show religiously. Oh, yes, I do. My TV is on TV3. So 6 p.m., once I see on the economy, business, and others, I don't joke with it. So you are doing an excellent job.
Thank you, sir. Humble.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Now, every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you'd always want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is a new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency, because EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergency. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank and power sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Now, to our topic for today, the issue of recent activities with regards to fraud in the system, and a lot of people have fallen casualty to them. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has intensified its regulatory sweep against unauthorized investment schemes, warning the public against fraudulent crypto asset platforms exploiting local investors. Now, a strict effort to purge the financial ecosystem of deceptive operators, the SEC has mandated that all fintech providers and online trading platforms register with official licensing by August 31, 2026. Unlicensed entities found operating outside the legal regulatory sandbox after this date will face immediate enforcement actions and sanctions as the Commission aggressively moves to defend market integrity. Joining us in studio, the Deputy Director General Operations of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mensah Thompson. DG, thank you so much for your time. It's quite an interesting one. We've heard of a recent one too, from CPC to the likes of people have lost money. What's happening?
Yes, Michael, thank you very much to you and your cherished viewers. It's a very disheartening situation that is happening within our market. And especially at this critical moment where we've just come out of a debt crisis and a lot of shocks that our economy took during those periods. And thankfully, due to some stability at the macro front, we've seen a lot of activity and confidence bouncing back within our market. We've seen a lot of investors that exited our capital market gradually returning to the capital market. And so it's a great time for our capital market. But you know, when there is improvement and opportunity, that is where fraudulent people also want to take advantage of the excitement and the general population's interest in the capital market to sell them fraudulent schemes and to rip them off. And it's been something that we've been battling, since the beginning of the year, and we've had cause to issue a number of statements. First, clarifying to the public that these schemes are not licensed, and they must verify the regulatory status of some of these investment schemes when they come across them before they put their money in it. We try to also educate them on some of the characteristics of these fraudulent schemes. One, they are faceless people. Two, unauthorized platforms. Three, and promising exorbitant and unrealistic returns. But I think the fraudsters have found a way to go around this. And I think the new scheme that has come up is that they sign up one person and they will tell you that before you can earn the interest that they've promised you, you need to refer another person or bring another person to sign up. And so now they trade on the integrity and credibility of people rather than themselves, because they know that if they come to you directly to come and market their product to you, Michael, you're a very enlightened person, and so you may not mind them. But if they're able to, let's say, convince, let's say, your producer or your CEO that, oh, and they sign up, and then your CEO refer you and tell you, oh, Mike, I've seen this investment scheme that I'm doing. I think it's very lucrative. You might want to check it out. Because it's coming from your CEO, somebody that you place premium on their words or you respect. The level of due diligence you have done on the platform, you share those due diligence and then put money in it. And so you realize that a lot of people have fallen victim because they got recommended. These platforms are recommended to them by credible people or people they had trust or people they sort of believe. And I think that's the new scheme that these guys are adopting. And we just want to use this opportunity to continue draw the public attention to these things, that do not fall victim. Even if somebody you trust or you believe recommend any investment platform to you, please still verify. We have our toll-free number, our website, and other communication channels are open for you to quickly verify. Just a normal text message or call or email to be sure that these are legitimate people, and then we'll be able to verify. We received a number of emails, I think, for the past 1 week, and especially towards the weekend, about this CPWA or something. Yeah. Again, you see people now asking you whether they are licensed or regulated by SEC or not. And when you say no, then they say shit. They say, look, but these questions that you are asking now are questions you should have asked before putting the money in. Not, you don't do these things, these checks after the fact, after you've put money in it. You do that before you put the money in. So it's a public education that will continue to intensify. And we've engaged the Cybersecurity Authority. I think on Wednesday, we're having a press briefing, a joint press briefing with the Cybersecurity Authority, with the assistance of the Cybersecurity Authority. They are helping us take a number of steps to be able to track these platforms down through the tools available to them. And again, we're also looking at these platforms that we've come up with a directive that governs the activities and operations of these digital platforms. There are genuine digital investment platforms. Okay. These genuine digital platforms are two. There are ones that are, implemented by our existing market operators. Okay. So, for example, IC Securities, it's a brokerage firm. They have an app or an online portal or platform that they use to onboard clients, or they help people buy securities. That is available. And so even that, we are taking them through a process to ensure that they have robust cybersecurity standards in place to ensure those platforms from either hacks or attacks. Then the second part is operators who want to operate these digital trading platforms, or what we call virtual securities platform, but they are not originally our licensee. And so for them, we have to take them through a whole robust process so we can license them or put them under a sandbox arrangement to ensure that they can operate. We are doing that as well. What these people are currently also doing is that some of them are cloning the websites of legitimate securities companies who we've licensed. And so recently there was one called Fidelity Capital. I don't know. And if you don't take care, you think it's Fidelity Bank. Okay? They would just clone the website of an existing licensee with marginal differences. And so you need to be extra vigilant and diligent before you can spot out some of these things. And that's why we ask people to be very careful when they are signing up on these platforms. They should do extra due diligence. How do you call it? Signing up with suspicious links and other things compromises the safety of whatever that they are trying to do, of both their phone, their personal information, and even the securities of their banking apps which they keep on their phone.
Fair point. But you see, despite all of the efforts that you as SEC are making, people are still falling victim. Does that not imply that you're not doing enough?
So we've gotten that backlash, and I say, Mike, we can only do as much. The SEC, our capacity is really limited, and our core mandate really, without placing premium on other, is to ensure that the people we've licensed and operating within the market operate properly, and the people who have invested money with them, we are making sure that they are properly taking care of the funds that people have trusted them with. Now, once it falls outside our unlicensed investment schemes, it is not solely the jurisdiction of the SEC, but then because it is a crime, then other the jurisdiction of other law enforcement agencies are also triggered. And so for SEC, our enforcement actions ends with investigations, okay, and flagging out these investment schemes, but most importantly, educating the public.
So is it time to review the SEC Act then so that you get some prosecutorial powers and go after these people?
So I can tell you that the SEC have some prosecutorial powers.
Okay.
And our current act even mandates us to have, you know, a whole prosecutorial unit and all that. The problem has been the capacity to be able to fully implement these structures. But I mean, in the absence of that, we've collaborated well with other security agencies. And this year, last year, we arrested about 5 people. This year, we've arrested about 3 or 4 people. We've gone up north to go and arrest some people. We went to Nima. We grabbed some, how do you call it, some network marketing people who were operating a Ponzi scheme. You know, so, but, you know, our resources are limited because, and these criminals are very sophisticated. Some of them are operating from outside the jurisdiction. Some of them are even if they are open inside the jurisdiction, they are using IP addresses of other external jurisdictions. They are extremely sophisticated. And so we can only admonish the public to be wary. And I think that sometimes some of the stories we hear is a bit disheartening. Just today, I was talking to somebody who have lost about 80,000 cedis to this CWPSA or something platform. And when I interrogated the person and I listened to the account, the signs are so clear right from the beginning when people contact you. Okay? But some way, somehow, people still fall victim to these things, and it's shocking. But again, you know, for us, it also tells us that people genuinely want an avenue to invest. And so we must provide them the opportunity to invest. And so we, apart from what we are doing in terms of enforcement, we're also engaging our market operators. So about 2 weeks ago, I engaged the entire broker dealers within our market on how we can make, you know, we can provide, you know, seamless access to investment opportunities for Ghanaians both home and abroad. Because it's when the alternatives are available, that is where it becomes very tricky for people to fall victims to these Ponzi schemes. But I think the larger problem is that sometimes and most of the times, the fraudsters promise very mouth-watering returns.
Which is the red flag.
Which is even though it's a red flag, is what actually excites people from investing in it. Because, I mean, currently as we speak, the government treasury is between 4 to 6%. Is low. Interest rate is quite low.
Yeah.
And if you get a good rate, you're getting about 6% on fixed deposit, between 6 to 10%. And so you have money market instrument larger and attractive. And so what has happened is that there's a vacuum where now the people who would have probably put money into these government treasuries, which are now unattractive to them. And so they are looking for other opportunities that are promising better returns. And so now, when those products are not available, then these fraudsters just concoct some schemes to come and extort these monies from them at, you know, promising exorbitant, you know, returns.
But basic finance will teach you that any scheme that promises 100% return higher than what the government treasuries are offering you is most likely a scam.
So we tell them all this.
With no risk.
We tell them that when it's too good to be true, then it's actually too good to be true. But I think that, you know, human needs and the desire, you know, to make it. I mean, look at how much people lose in betting, in other gaming platforms and stuff. And so you cannot regulate people's, you know, innate behaviors. But what you can do is constantly to provide the education.
All right.
Make sure that the channels of information flow is accessible. And that is why we have opened up our platforms that when in doubt, please reach out to the Securities and Exchange Commission.
I think at this point it's beyond doubt. So before you even invest, you should be able to check with you.
Exactly. And I think that it should be it should be a standard behavior of any Ghanaian who want to invest that you do as part of your due diligence. You want to confirm the license status, because most of these people, they are faceless. Now, it has to take us with the cybersecurity authority now to use other, means to track these people.
Okay.
They are faceless. And so, Mike, before we go, I just want to use this opportunity once again. Appeal to Ghanaians, appeal to citizens, especially our elderly women, our teachers, our nurses, our doctors. When somebody approaches you with any scheme, please contact the Securities and Exchange Commission. Our toll-free number is on our website. Our email address on our website. Our call number is on our website. Please reach out. It will take you just a minute to verify the regulatory status of these companies. But that 1 minute will save you several days and weeks and months of stress. And so we appeal to Ghanaians. Do not fall victim. Do not invest in any scheme. The crypto schemes that have coming up, please check their status. Those promising higher returns and exorbitant fees, those asking you to refer people, please, they are fraudulent, unlicensed, and they will dupe you. So please verify before you invest. Note, verify before you invest. Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope that after here we'll have a conversation so that you and Media General can do a campaign on all of this and then help sensitize the people more. We have the platform, and I'm sure we can send you a budget. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That was Mensah Thompson. He is the Deputy Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. They're bringing us some insights on what's happening within the investment space so you don't fall victim to one scheme and various fraud schemes out there. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodo. Let's go for a quick breather. When we come back, we'll continue into our next topic. Stay tuned. the new EcoBank Money Emergency Number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank, a proud sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Now, to our second topic for today, a recent rally in international crude prices is placing immense pressure on Ghanaian consumers as fuel prices at the pumps face upward adjustments. Now, the surge is simultaneously escalating operational overheads for local manufacturers and businesses, threatening to trigger a broader spike in production costs. Industry watchers warn that if the global volatility persists, the rising energy cost could further strain corporate bottom lines and squeeze household budgets across the country. Tonight, we speak to Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amoah, and the Executive Secretary of the Ashanti Business Owners Association, Charles Kusi Apia-Kubi, on their take on this. But before we go into that, we do know also that Tema Oil Refinery has received some 1 million barrels of crude. We would listen to the Managing Director of TOR, Edmund Combat, commenting on that particular receipt. So yeah, we'll be showing you a video of the Tema Oil Refinery MD basically commenting on having received some 1 million barrels of crude oil from Jubilee Fields. But then also the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Eduji Tamaklo, has also been commenting on this, and this is what he has to say.
And I want to say a huge salute to my minister, who is leading that domestic, refinery of Ghana's crude. President John Dramani Mahama himself had made it the point that once we do that, the pressures on the CD, among other things, and today, because of the volatile nature of the Middle East, if we are able to do a refinery that constitutes about 50% of your local needs, it greatly reduces the uncertainty associated with 100% reliance on foreign import. So for me, this is a game changer, and I strongly believe that we'll have the support of our people on it. And let me say that today I was just checking the FOB for refined product. Recently it came up to almost 90 to 85. It's gone back to 1,200. That's serious. But like again you've said, once you have the Essential Crude and others coming, and you are getting about 50% of your total, local need produced locally, at least it mitigates. And let me say this. There are two things that you always need to look at in this equation: availability and price. When the people have the product, they're able to manage the price.
So that was the CEO of the NPA saying that the refinery conversation helps bring some relative stability and mitigation to the shocks from the international front. Let's listen now to the TOR MD.
We are so excited at Tema Oil Refinery today. Beside me is the captain of the vessel, MT Apache. We are so grateful to His Excellency the President for promising the people of Ghana that he was going to link the upstream and the downstream together. He promised that he was going to give Ghanaian crude oil to the Tema Oil Refinery. This is not the first time he's done this. He did this in his first term in 2016. And coming back into power, this is the first time he's giving the Ghanaian crude to TOR. We are happy to report to everybody that the president has fulfilled his promise, and there's 1 million, equivalent of 1 million barrels of crude in MT Apache. They're about to start discharging, and then the refinery will refine it for the Ghanaian people. So in the few coming days, you have your Ghanaian crude turned into petroleum product in your vehicles, in your various cars, as you cruise from Accra to Kumasi to Takoradi and Cape Coast. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your continuous prayers for the president and Ghana. And also I want to thank our Greek brothers.
So that was the Managing Director of the Tema Oil Refinery, the TOR, Edmund Combat there, acknowledging receipt of some 1 million barrels of crude, and also indicating that in the next couple of days we should be getting some of the products from Tor at the pumps. I'll start off with you, Duncan Amoah. First off, your initial take on all of this refinery conversation is something that we know that you have championed over the last couple of years. Situate that now with this sudden spike we are seeing on the global front where crude oil is approaching $90 per barrel.
Well, thank you, Michael, and good evening once again to your viewers. Indeed, we would situate the conversation properly, what the global perspective or the global outlook is looking like, and then the local interventions and what exactly Ghanaians could be expecting from these local interventions. Are there any other things or forms of interventions that would have helped in this situation we find ourselves? The global perspective, we happen to still have a fluid situation as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. The latest on it is that President Trump says it's going to cost about $2 billion USD each day to keep the straits opened for flow of oil across to the rest of the globe, Asia, and other parts of the world, Europe. So that conversation looks far from over. It doesn't look as though we are getting towards stability as far as prices on the international market is concerned. And so, like you rightly said, for most of us watchers of industry here, we've advocated for what you would sometimes refer to as the Gulf Cooperation model, where they internalize or localize their advantages or benefits. You cannot be an oil-producing country that continues to export everything you produce by way of crude, and then you go back to refineries in foreign places to go and buy finished products to come and sell to your people. What that does is to add a lot of logistical overheads or variances to the final cost of product at your pumps. I am happy that, of course, the president has decided through his able minister, Jinapo, to work to deliver crude to the local refineries. But Michael, the truth is, it is only a first step, of about 3 things that needs to be done. We would expect that if the local crude has now been delivered to the local refineries, whatever benefits that would need to accrue to the Ghanaian consumer from this local crude program, we would need to be able to track that in real-time numbers. I say this advisedly. If BDCs are still going to import from Rotterdam, Amsterdam, right, say within the same time period, and then you have the likes of Central Tor also refining, right? For those of us who get these prices on a daily, FOB prices, and of course what the refineries are putting out there, we would want to be able to see that the local refineries are delivering more efficient pricing. It cannot be business as usual, because if that happens, then of course what His Excellency has committed to and the minister has ensured it happens would have come to naught. We would want to see differences in price parity between what is imported, because clearly, even if you put the 2 refineries we have locally together, we will not be able to deliver 100% of what the market demands. So we will still be bringing in some products from Europe. We would want to be able to see that whatever came from Europe at Plat Plus, right, and whatever we delivered to the local refineries by way of crude, the price variation is telling, at least some 40, 20, 30, 50 pesos per liter. Then you and I can hold the government to account and say, look, when you give crude to the local refineries, the impact could be felt in numbers. But as it stands, it looks as though we are quite happy already, excited that we have received local crude. To the trotro driver watching, to the teacher, to the nurse, to the accountant, to the average Ghanaian watching today, if we have received crude and we are happy, what is the benefit, the cost-benefit analysis? Can we have those numbers in real time. We will be hoping and gauging that over the next 2 weeks, when the next pricing window commences for August, we would see a price disparity between the local refinery and what it puts out there, and of course, what the international refineries or BDCs are also bringing in. When that happens, Michael, your platform, and I'm sure your own good self and all others, would continue to ask the government to now ensure that there's 100% delivery of crude to the local refineries, because the benefits can be weighed or can be gauged. Let's not be excited yet. Lastly, I also think that we still haven't paid much attention to the strategic reserve program that the country must commit itself to.
Duncan, hold that thought for me briefly. Let me bring in Charles Kusi up here quickly to pick his thoughts on business community, really. How do you feel about all of this, and what's your position, really?
All right, thank you, and good evening to you and to your viewers. We are grateful for the opportunity to speak on this subject. Just like someone elucidated, crude oil is the baseline of everything that we do in this country. In fact, every economic activity is influenced by movement. Movement is influenced by transportation. Transportation is also influenced by cost, which is fuel. So it becomes more or less like coefficient for any economic activities. So the moment there's price changes in terms of fuel or crude oil, it has two tendencies on economy. One of it is affecting GDP. One of it is increasing inflation. And we know the dotted effect when it comes to inflation. Price of items goes high. So if you take a steady look at how our inflation has behaved for the past 3 months, from March to June, you could see an upward increase in terms of inflation. And it has affected food inflation, transportation inflation, which of course also affects manufacturing. It also affects the ability of the ordinary Ghanaian to purchase from the market. So what all this is doing to us is it's depleting working capital for businesses. It is also eroding the purchasing power of the ordinary Ghanaian. And this, of course, also stagnates economic growth. So the effects of what is happening on the tendencies of economy, one on the GDP growth and that of business stagnation, that is where our challenges are. And as we have received that news that, okay, Ghana, even though we are net importer of crude oil, we are moving to a situation where we can process some part of crude oil. That will mean that it will reduce our cost of importing crude oil, which of course will also increase the strength of our city. When the strength of our city is increased, of course, it protects the working capital of the ordinary Ghanaian. And you could also bear with me the economic trajectory that we have experienced for about a year more because of the strength of our city. If we are not able to safeguard all of these things and we allow what is happening in Iran and US affect us, it means that all that we have gained over the period will be depleted. And when that is depleted, then there will be that economic reversal when we'll be going back to 2022, 2023 challenges that we have embarked on for almost a year. And now, by God's grace, probably there's a little economic recovery for us. So for us as businesses, our joy will be that what we have received, that we are going to process crude oil in Ghana will not just be rhetoric, but its real economic translation will be felt in the market. And that is where we are looking at as businesses, so that our struggle will not be in vain as businesses.
Okay, interesting submissions there. But Duncan, in 1 minute, briefly, so that we can wrap up the show, you've spoken extensively about the fact that the refinery is one step. Now we have to look at what you speak of, the reserves, right?
Yes, Michael. And so, just as I said, you have a minister that is clearly working hard. But again, I would want to caution that he doesn't lose sight of the strategic reserve program. Just about a month ago, prices of products on the international market were favorable. You have the likes of Bost that have huge tankage that could have probably gotten some products to store for. We lose that window, and then the next time when prices go high, then everything filters through to the consumer or to the trotro driver or the taxi driver or the Uber guy. I think that the strategic reserve program would need to be funded, and so the minister should look at it in earnest and ensure that there's some little contribution out of the existing taxes that can be set aside so that when crude prices or finished product prices or plant prices are favorable or lower, we are able to buy some products and store. So that if you turn the other way 2 weeks later and prices are, higher, it will be easier for the government, for the ministry, for Mr. President himself to tell Ghanaians, look, I already planned for you. Beyond the crude program that we are already doing with the refineries, you would also want to ensure that there's some petroleum security by way of strategic reserves. If that is not done, Michael will continue to be the price takers.
Fair point. Duncan, answer this quickly for me. Yes or no? Should we expect prices to continue to go up with this refinery up on stream now?
Yes, Michael, naturally, if you look at price movements globally as we speak, it will be difficult to expect that the next window will come with reductions. It is likely going to see some upward adjustments for all of us. But I think that we will look at the crude exchange program and what benefits it brings. If that is able to mitigate anything, then you and I may probably be able to...
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Duncan Amwa. That was the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana. We also had the Executive Secretary of the Ashanti Businessmen Association, Charles Kubi there. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. That'll be all for today's edition of Business Focus. For more stories, check out our website, s3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe. Catch you same time next week. Bye-bye.
Business Focus